If you're looking to buy a stacked NBA 2K account with max badges and more, visit sportstmb.com. He has been in the community for years and has hundreds of reviews. Click the first link in the description to get your account today.
Before this video starts, if you enjoy this video, there are many more like it on the channel already, with many more like it to come in the future, so subscribe. I am trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would really appreciate it. I upload almost daily, so if you're looking for some sports talk while the world is on fire, this is the place to find it. Also, there will probably be a new episode of the Hawks My GM out by the time this video is out. If not, it will be out very soon after, so keep a lookout for that. Now, today, I am aware that I am known for having some hot takes, but I'm also aware that today I'm probably pushing it a little bit. Calling a season where a guy scored 50 points per game overrated is definitely hotter than most of my takes. But this video is not going to be focusing on just Wilt Chamberlain, but rather the problem with high scoring seasons in general. That's not to say that this video isn't really about Wilt, it is, he's just here to make a broader point as well. And that point is that a player scoring a crazy amount of points like Jordan averaging 37, Harden averaging 36, Kobe averaging 35, Wilt averaging 35, Wilt averaging 37, Wilt averaging 38, Wilt averaging 45, and Wilt averaging 50, Jesus Christ, Wilt. It's not really a good thing, and it does not lead to winning. So let's talk about why Wilt's 50 point per game season was overrated and why high scoring seasons in general are overrated. Now, I want to make something clear right from the jump because I'm afraid this might get misconstrued. Averaging 50 points per game or anything like it, such as Jordan averaging 37 points per game, is impressive as fuck. There is no denying that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like averaging 50 points per game is an easy feat, because it isn't. I'm not one of those clowns that says it's irrelevant because he was playing against a bunch of 5'6" white dudes, because one, the average height for centers at the time was 6'10". I don't know why people act like the 1960s are the 1660s when the average height for men was 5'4". Shout out to the editor of this video, Rudy. The average height and weight in 1960 was 6'5" and 205 pounds. In 2020, it's 6'6" and 216 pounds. Not a huge difference. However, when you look at Wilt and how he got his high scoring numbers, or really how any player got their high scoring numbers, the results can be quite troubling. So let's put Wilt's 50 point per game season under a microscope. The first and most obvious thing to take into consideration is that Wilt played every single minute of every single game. As a matter of fact, this season he averaged 48.5 minutes a game, more than a regulation game, due to the overtimes that the team played that year. Now, once again, it is very impressive to be able to play every minute of every game, but to put it simply, in today's game, that just would not happen. It's unhealthy for players to play that much, so realistically, if we translated his game from then to today, he'd be playing around 36 minutes a game, where he would average just 37 points, which is obviously a lot, but not 50. But I also don't find that to be all too relevant of a criticism. It's definitely there, but it's not that big of a deal because he did play those minutes. It's important to consider the context of how much points he was putting up per minute, but at the end of the day, he was still playing those minutes and putting up those points. Though this does point to the fact that his 50 point per game season was not all that more impressive than Michael Jordan's 37 or anything like that, as it is often presented. My main gripe with Wilt, and in particular his 50 point per game season, was that his high scoring did not contribute to winning. The Philadelphia Warriors won just 49 games this year, and it was not in spite of Wilt. The team was good outside of him. Paul Arzon, who is a two-time scoring champion and a Hall of Famer, was on the team. Five-time All-Star and Hall of Famer Tom Gallo was on the team. Hall of Famer Al Attles, All-Star Tom Meschery, Hall of Famer Guy Rogers. This team was stacked and they didn't even win 50 games because Wilt Chamberlain was shooting the ball way too fucking much. This is my biggest gripe with Wilt Chamberlain's 50-point season and Wilt as a player. In my True Point Guards video, I said that point guards averaging double-digit assists pointed to an inherent flaw within an NBA team's offense. That if a team has a point guard averaging a crazy amount of assists, it means that team does not have enough playmaking as a unit, and as a result, their offense becomes predictable and therefore beatable. And that same line of reasoning can be applied to scoring. High-scoring seasons tend to be a result of a player just simply shooting the ball too much, either because they want to or because they have to. Look at the highest scoring seasons throughout NBA history. MJ's 37, 40 and 42 record, first round exit in a sweep. Kobe's 35 point per game season, team went 45 and 37, first round exit after going up 3-1. Harden's 36, the team won 53 games, but they were worse than last year and lost to the Warriors in the second round in 6 games with Kevin Durant missing Game 6 and the end of Game 5. When Wilt averaged 37, the team won just 49 games. When he averaged 38, they won 46. When he averaged 45, they won just 31. 37 points a game, the Warriors won 48 games. When they had Nate Thurmond paired with Wilt and he averaged 39 a game, he being Wilt, the team won just 17 fucking games. When Rick Barry replaced Wilt on those Warriors teams, he averaged 35 points per game and the team won just 44 games. So my theory is that high scoring seasons do not lead to winning. You really won't see anyone averaging much more than 30 points per game in a regular season being on a team that ends up winning the championship. So my theory is it doesn't lead to winning, and luckily that theory was tested with Wilt Chamberlain in 1967. If you've heard this whole spiel about the 67 Sixers from my greatest single championship team video, then I'm sorry, but it also has to be said again for this video. There is only one season where Wilt at his absolute peak managed to win a championship, and that was in 1967 with the Philadelphia 76ers, and he did that by making one adjustment to the game. He stopped shooting the ball so much. In 1965, the Philadelphia Warriors won 54 games with Wilt averaging 34 points per game. And then that team did what always happens with Wilt Chamberlain teams. They lost to the Bill Russell Celtics in just 5 games. And unlike how many like to spin it, this was not because Wilt did not have any help. The team had virtually the same roster as they did when they won in the next season. The issue was because Wilt shot the ball so much. Because of that, the offense of the other guys on the roster wasn't as good because most of the touches went to Wilt, and when it was time for them to score, they weren't in rhythm, so it didn't go too well. The whole narrative that Wilt Chamberlain did not have any help throughout his career is complete bullshit. The guy just shot the ball so many times throughout all of his seasons that it looked like he was doing it all and his teammates weren't shit. But in reality, Wilt was doing it all, and that was a detriment to his teammates, and he was making them worse. He was doing it all by choice, not because his teammates were not good enough. The difference between the 1966 76ers and the 1967 76ers was the new coach of the team, Alex Hannum, made Wilt Chamberlain shoot the ball less, and as a result, the team won 13 more regular season games, ending with 68 fucking wins. Wilt was just barely the scoring leader of the Sixers, averaging 24 and 24, and being that he was playing 46 minutes a game, he was really not scoring that much at all for his play time, averaging just 19 points per 36, which is actually 4th on the team overall. Wilt shooting the ball less made the Sixers' offense as a unit significantly better. The season where Wilt averaged 34 the year prior, the team was 6th in offense, and keep in mind, that's with 9 teams in the league. When Wilt averaged just 24 points a game, they were number 1 out of 10, with 6 players on the team averaging double digits and 4 averaging 18 plus. Wilt shooting the ball less also resulted in him shooting better from the field at 68% and averaging way more assists with 7.8 a game. The dude put up 24, 24, and 8 on 68% shooting because he shot the ball less. The bigger focus on team basketball and getting the right shot every possession led to the team being way better as a unit. And as a result, the team won more games and won a championship, beating the peak dynasty Celtics in just 5 games and beating the Warriors in the finals in 6 games. So to tie all of this back to what I'm trying to say about Wilt's 50-point per game season, his season in 1967 proved that his season where he averaged 50 was overrated. See, what's ironic about the 67 season was that by Wilt shooting the ball less, he proved his previous game where he shot the ball more to be flawed as hell. He proved his old self to be overrated. When Wilt shot the ball less, he won. When Wilt decided he was going to shoot the ball a lot, his team did not win, so therefore Wilt, when he was averaging 50, was not actually that helpful for winning, it was just filling up the box score. So when you go back and look at the careers of many players who had these high scoring seasons like Jordan did and like Kobe did, rarely was their highest scoring season considered their best season. I would not consider Kobe's season where he averaged 35 to be the best of his career. I would not consider the season Jordan averaged 37 to be the best of his career, and I would not consider the season where Wilt averaged 50 to be the best of his career. Sometimes, like in the case of Kobe, they shot the ball that much because they had to. But in others, like in the case of Wilt, he shot the ball that much because he wanted to, and it was when he finally didn't that he won a championship. So this line of reasoning can really be applied to any high-scoring season or any talks of it. When people talk about Michael Jordan and what he would have averaged in the modern NBA, saying he would average 40 points per game. Sure, probably could have done that. 3 more points per game than what he did in a slower pace, no spacing era is well within the realm of possibility. I have no argument there. But it wouldn't be good for his team, just like it wasn't good for his team in 1987, and just like it wouldn't be good for any player to do that. Scoring at that high of a volume either shows how poor the scoring on your team overall is, or it shows how poorly it is being utilized. So that is why Wilt Chamberlain's 50-point per game season is overrated, and why high-scoring seasons in general are overrated. That is the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.